In this video, we'll learn about Southwest Minnesota Arts Council's public art grants for fiscal year 2026, which runs from July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. The Public Art Grant Program provides funding for large-scale physical public art projects. Grants are available for up to $20,000, and funding comes from Minnesota's Arts and Cultural Heritage or Legacy Fund. Applicant organizations need to be located in Southwest Minnesota Arts Council or SMOC's service area, which includes 18 counties and 2 tribal nations. These are Big Stone, Chanchayapi or Lower Sioux Community, Chippewa, Cottonwood, Jackson, Candy, Ojai, Lacoparle, Lincoln, Lyon, McLeod, Meeker, Murray, Nobles, Pajutazizi or Upper Sioux Community, Pipestone, Redwood, Renville, Rock, Swift, and Yellow Medicine. We acknowledge that the Southwest Minnesota region occupies the traditional, ancestral, and contemporary lands of the Dakota people. These public art grants are open to 501c3 nonprofit organizations and units of government, which include city, county, and tribal government. If your organization is operating in the spirit of a nonprofit but doesn't have its 501c3 status yet, you can apply using a fiscal sponsor, which is an organization that is eligible to apply and will receive and manage your project funds for you. In that case, your application will need to include a fiscal sponsor agreement that outlines how the relationship will work between your 2 organizations, and someone from the fiscal sponsor organization will need to sign all grant documents, including your application. For this grant, projects can include murals, sculptures, and other physical public art, along with events to celebrate these new works in the community. Your project will need to leave an arts legacy in Southwest Minnesota through providing arts access in the community and a continuing impact beyond the initial installation or event. You may also want to look at a Quick Support for Organizations grant to help with this large-scale project. Quick Support for Organizations grants have a project type that can provide funding to plan for a specific public art project, with activities like gathering community input, going through the process of requesting proposals from artists, determining costs and available resources, and researching the feasibility or sustainability of the project. This would help you gather all of the information you need to prepare for your public art grant application, and grants are available for up to $2,500. As you're making your plans, be aware that SMOC has an overall funding limit. Organizations are limited to $20,000 per year in SMOC grant funds across all programs. So this may require your organization to do some planning and think about what you would like to be able to apply for during the year. If you receive a Quick Support for Organizations grant and a public art grant in the same year, that would reduce the amount you could request for public art. So the $20,000 for public art would be reduced by $2,500 for the Quick Support for Organizations, leaving you with $17,500 that you could request in public art. So you may want to think about requesting your Quick Support for Organizations planning grant in a different fiscal year to be able to request the full $20,000 for the public art grant. There are some activities that are not eligible for these grants, and that includes your organization's regular programming or recurring projects, requests for new building construction, purchase of real estate or endowment funds, projects that don't have an art focus, activities of a for-profit project, organization, or business, educational projects within a school system, activities that take place outside of Minnesota, since we are using state funds for these grants. Also ineligible are activities that are not open to the public, religious socialization of participants or audience, fundraising events. In other words, these grants are meant to help your project break even, not to make a profit. And you also can't be fundraising on behalf of any other cause as part of your project. Also ineligible are payments of debts incurred before the grant begins, funds being used to match another SMOC grant, receiving a direct Minnesota legislative appropriation or legislatively mandated grant from the Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund for fiscal year 2026. So this would be funds that are allocated directly to your organization by the state legislature. And also ineligible are applicants that have a past due final report still outstanding with us. There is one deadline for the public art program per year. This year that is December 10th for projects starting February 1st or later. If you are looking at applying for the Quick Support for Organizations for some planning help, that is available on a monthly basis with deadlines the first of the month, August through May, and the earliest date you could start your project would be the first day of the following month. As an example, if you submitted an application in time for the August 1st deadline, you would be able to start your project September 1st. For all of these deadlines, applications need to be submitted by 4 p.m. on that date. You'll need to choose a start date for your project, and in doing that, you'll want to first check for the earliest allowed start date, knowing that you can't start any project activities or spend any funds before that start date. And activities would include things like ordering supplies, preparing your site, starting any fabrication, doing any advertising, any artist payments, etc. If there is something that you need to spend money on before that earliest allowed start date, such as a deposit on an artist contract, you could not include that amount in your grant project budget. You'll also need to choose an end date for your project and make sure to give yourself plenty of time to complete the actual project activities and also evaluate the project. Anything awarded this year, fiscal year 2026, needs to be finished up by June 30th of 2027. So that is the latest end date that you could have. In preparing to fill out your application, these are the kinds of questions you'll need to answer and materials you'll need to gather. You'll need to include a sketch or mock-up of your proposed public art. You'll also need to provide information about the proposed location of that public art, why you chose that location. You can also include some photos of that location. You'll also need to provide information about the artists involved in your project, including resumes and bios for them, samples of their work, and your rationale for choosing them. You'll need to describe all of your project activities and event details, your plans for reaching underserved or underrepresented communities through your project, proposed project outcomes, and an evaluation plan. You'll also need estimated audience numbers, information about any key non-artist project personnel, your planning and marketing schedule, information about the support and collaborations from the community that you'll have, an itemized budget, a summary of your organization's mission, history, programming, along with a board list, some demographic and organization data, and contact information for your project director and authorizing official. Your project director is the person who will be most directly responsible for the day-to-day activities of the project, and your authorizing official will be someone with authorizing power for your organization, like the president or treasurer. These cannot be the same person, and both will need to sign all of your grant documents, including the application. Here are the criteria our grant reviewers will be using to score your application. They will look at the artistic quality and merit of the project, worth 46% of your score, your plans for reaching underserved communities, worth 13% of your score, the impact the project will have on participants and audience, worth 28% of your score, and your ability to accomplish the project, worth 13% of your score. In more detail, under artistic quality and merit, the reviewers will be looking to see that the activities and resulting public art have high artistic merit and potential for participants to develop knowledge, skills, and understanding of the arts, that the artists have an appropriate level of experience, and that their work shows technical skill and artistic vision or voice. For reaching the underserved, reviewers will look to see if you have identified underserved or underrepresented groups in your community and have specific plans for how you will reach out to and involve at least one of those groups in your project. And they'll also be looking for your efforts toward ADA accessibility. Under impact on participants and audience, reviewers will look to see that the project is important to the community and meets their artistic needs, that it shows growth for your organization or the community, that you provide evidence of sustainable arts access and a plan for physical maintenance of the structure after it is completed. They'll also look to see if you have identified proposed changes to take place as a result of the project and have plans to measure or prove whether those changes have taken place. And finally, under ability to accomplish, they will look to see that you have an appropriate timeline, budget, and marketing plan, and they'll look for evidence of a strong organization, board, and non-artist personnel. SMOC staff can offer assistance in several ways as you work on your application. You can talk through your project with us before getting started and make sure your project is eligible, you're applying under the right grant program and deadline. You can get answers to your questions about the application as you're starting to work on that. And SMOC staff can also review your application before you submit it. If you let us know up to about 2 weeks before the deadline, we can guarantee we're able to look at that and give you some feedback on whether you're missing anything, if anything might sound confusing to the reviewers, etc. There are also many resources available for you on our website at swmnarts.org. The site includes guidelines and criteria, important dates, a preview of application and report questions. There are also instructional videos available, including how to use the online grant system, how the grant process works, and some grant writing topics like reaching underserved and underrepresented communities and grant goals and evaluation. You'll also find workshop opportunities, both virtual and in person. Also on the website are some sample documents so you can see what a contract looks like, for instance, along with credit lines and logos you may need to use. There is a login to the online grant system and multiple ways to connect with SMOC staff. Thanks for learning about Southwest Minnesota Arts Council's public art grants. Please contact us with any questions or visit our website for more information.